along with Alan Hahn and Monica McNutt. The one number, guys, that jumps off the stat page. Knicks 24 rebounds, fewest in a game since the 12-13 season, and Monica outboarded by 19. Charlotte had 19 more rebounds than the Knicks did. That's the biggest differential against for the Knicks all season long.
I don't like it. There were lots of long rebounds, as we anticipated, when you got a team that shoots as many threes as the Charlotte Hornets. And that's where it stops for me. I'm trying to come up with...
A lot of it was the offensive rebounding.
Yeah.
Right? 12 offensive rebounds for Charlotte really stands out because of all the extra
And the Knicks only had 5.
And that's out of character.
Completely out of character.
And so, all the numbers are saying 16 points, a second chance. But, Monica, let's be honest. Like, the Knicks have an identity of being a great rebounding team with two guys that are dominant rebounders. And Karl-Anthony Towns is number 2 in the league in rebounding. He has 3 rebounds in this entire game. So he's not felt in this game.
No.
Charlotte played their identity. Charlotte found it, and sometime in December, they figured out who they are.
Yeah.
And they have a game that they play, and it's a lot
fast.
It's fast-paced, it's quick shooting, up and down the floor, but it's also a defense that is, they're coming at you in waves. They're going to put pressure on you. They're going to frustrate you. They play hard. They get it to the boards, too. The Knicks couldn't play their identity because Charlotte wouldn't let them. Well, and one team felt comfortable in their identity, and the other team didn't. Because maybe one is still trying to figure out who they are, and by that one, I mean the Knicks.
I'm with you, and so I just for the sake of the exercise, they're starting 5. Knuple's 6'6", Bridges is 6'7", Moussa Diabate 6'10", Brandon Miller 6'7", LaMelo Ball 6'7", which, on its surface, if you just look at that, you're like, so Karl-Anthony Towns is 7 foot, what? No big deal.
They average about 6'7".
But and the switchability of all of these guys in terms of being willing to guard with energy, getting to the glass. Like, from the first quarter, I think we all observed that the Knicks have been out-energized by this squad.
Yes.
But when you say playing to their identity, yes, we talk about them leading the league in terms of the threes that they take and make. But on defense, when you have NBA sort of prototypes that can just switch and play with tremendous energy, it requires a level of attentiveness for your offense if you're the New York Knicks. It can't just be Jalen Brunson trying to carry it away with a double-double and nobody else is getting involved. Like, that's just not.
And that's where Towns, we've seen Karl-Anthony Towns have really good games. When he gets the ball early, gets involved early. He did not, and from there, he just did not have an impact on the game. But as we talked about with the Knicks, over that 7-game stretch, and now even again tonight, first quarter, 3-point defense has been an issue. Charlotte hit 6 of 11 from downtown. That is still on brand for what has happened with the Knicks of late. The Knicks did get 36 points, which is good in the first quarter, but gave up 38. That continues. These slow starts, soft defense, especially on 3-point defense, has been a major issue. And the close of the first half.
Second quarter,
That really was the game right there, because it was a 1-point game, and the Knicks were going back and forth. Very entertaining up and down game. And then Charlotte seemed to put it into another gear. And that's when everything turned. They closed the half at 15-6. The Knicks were down 10 and only got it maybe to, what, 9? That's the closest for the rest of this game. That was it right there. The end of that quarter felt like that changed the whole game.
Talking about the Hornets and their ability to hit threes. They made 16. They lead the league in threes made per game at 16. So they hit their average, which is tops in the league. And, Alan, you went through the sequence. End of the first half, Knicks outscored. And aside, Monica, from the last handful of minutes, Knicks really weren't in the game at all in the second half.
No, and this is the thing about a team that shoots the 3 so well. It becomes such, like, deflating basketball. I mean, look at where LaMelo Ball is taking these shots from, right? Like, you're doing your best trying to scramble, contest, and these guys are knocking it down as if you were never in their face.
He hit 6 of 10.
Oh, gosh. It's so deflating. But you got to give this young team a lot of credit, though. And to your point, Han, while the threes is what will catch your eye, the defense is really what has them with a better record over the last 30 games now than the Knicks do with tonight's win.
Yeah, and you're seeing, look at that pass over that. They play very loose, very free. They seem to play a fun style, right? And the threes are a big part of it, but you're right. That's almost a distraction. All the things we're showing you, the offense, them just running harder, because the Knicks, you could tell, they just weren't, they didn't have it tonight, clearly, and they knew it. But this team defensively, which we aren't showing you, but the way they made it difficult for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, they took away a lot of the spray-out threes. The Knicks only attempted 29, as you can see. That is not typical for them, but there's the number. You see it highlighted.
Fast break point.
Well, that's there, too, but the 7. But
you know what's interesting?
It was 15-0. Yeah,
You know what's really interesting? The
garbage time.
second chance points are badly the Knicks got out-rebounded.
Right. Well, the
That's
offensive
interesting.
rebounds, the 12 offensive rebounds should have been more than 16.
Right.
But it's still an extra possession. It's
Right.
still the deflating offensive rebounds, some of the long rebounds, whatever it was. But I can't get over that number for a Knicks team. This is what you do.
Yeah.
Like, this is why you're a good team. And that did not happen tonight.
No, it didn't. And, you know, we'll go through the box score. If you actually look at it, the Knicks had 17 points off the 18 turnovers that Charlotte forced. But the Knicks gave up 13 points off turnovers of their own. And so just on a night where you thought perhaps the maturity of this team is going to shine through, right? They'll surely slow down the pace of this basketball game, make this Hornets squad defend. That didn't happen until late, and it was a little too far gone in mind when it finally did start to happen. And so the 3-point, this was the example of what we were cautious of over the soft 7, if you will. Okay, cool. Y'all struggled to defend the 3-point line versus these teams that you're able to come back against. This was not that.
Well, they're the
that
best
three-point line, exactly.
Best three-point shooting team in the league.
And once you turn a young team on like that with that sort of energy at home with the crowd that is desperate to see a win over the New York Knicks, that is hard. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. And that's what happened tonight.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. You had to know what was coming. This is a team that was clearly gunning for you, which we've seen that this season, but it doesn't matter. They wanted this game bad. This team's tired of their building being MSG South. They were tired of all that stuff. They knew we need to get the crowd on our side. They've had the crowd on their side. 10 straight sellouts down there. They have never done that since that arena has opened. So they are celebrating something down there. And I'll tell you this, watch out for this team. If you meet them in the first round, there's a Dragon Slayer somewhere at the bottom of the Eastern standings when it comes to the playoff bracket, whether it's Charlotte or Atlanta. There's a Dragon Slayer, I'm telling you, that somebody's got to watch out.
Let's look at this. The Knicks very well can end up 3rd. Charlotte could very well end up 6th.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
First
it's funny. It's funny, maybe not, but the right word. I find it coincidental that we're talking about Charlotte. A year ago, 2 years ago for sure, Atlanta posed similar problems for this group. It was the athleticism, it was the switchability. These are the types of matchups where everybody has to be on their P's and Q's, both defensively and offensively, because with a team that plays that fast and free, and with the defenders that Atlanta has, you got to make them feel you in terms of pressing the issue with your physicality on the offensive end.
Yes.
And I don't think the Knicks got into the body of these Hornets at any point
tonight. There was none of that, and you could tell.
They're too quick.
Well, never mind. Never mind that. But Monica nailed it, because that shows you why the rebounding numbers were the way they were. Because if you're playing physical, if they're feeling you, they're not getting that many rebounds because you're a bigger team and you're a better team. But they had the energy, you didn't, and it just felt like the more they started running, the more they started flying around, it just felt like this team, this Knicks team, just didn't want to go there. Just not tonight, for whatever reason, didn't want to raise their level. In a playoff series, you have no choice. You absolutely have to. But I'll say it one more time. Whether it's this team or Atlanta, there's a Dragon Slayer laying in the weeds at the bottom of the bracket in the Eastern Conference.
Charlotte now 23-6 in its last 29. Tonight's thrilling moment brought to you by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on, and we focus here on these some crazy threes. I mean, LaMelo, he's shooting off of one leg from 35 feet away.
You know what's great, though, Michael? How about the difference between the two of them? Between the way Knuckle is shooting threes all squared up and pure, and then like this stuff. His hips are facing the sideline, Mon.
Hey, bro, this is the way I'm
supposed to shoot like that.
It's going in.
Look at this.
Maybe that's what I was doing wrong all these years.
Aside from us being in New York, this is a really incredibly entertaining basketball game.
Miller, Knipple, and Ball, right? Each with 20, at least 20 points. And Kobe White now off the bench, right?
Yeah,
former Bull.
They hit 14 of the threes of the 16. They hit those 3 guys you just named. Hit 14 of the 16
Also, cautionary tale, Con Knipple, while the numbers, statistics are historic in terms of him putting up Steph Curry numbers, better than Steph Curry numbers in his rookie season, that young man is not just a shooter. Do not.
11 rebounds.
8 assists.
8 assists, nearly a triple-double. Yeah. Do not limit that young man to being just a shooter. Like, he's a outstanding cerebral basketball player who's in a system that not only fits his shooting ability, but as a unit, they just cooking. They just moving and shaking. And I give Charles Lee a ton of credit. When you think about it,